Today we're going to talk about for drink destroys your bones. First one, something that's been sitting in your refrigerator, quietly working against your bone health every single day. I'm talking about soda, particularly those fizzy cola drinks that so many of us reach for without a second thought. Now, I know what you're thinking. How could something so refreshing, so satisfying on a hot day, actually be harmful to our bones? Well, the answer lies in a sneaky little compound called phosphoric acid. This ingredient is what gives many sodas, especially colas, their distinctive tangy taste. But here's the problem: phosphoric acid creates a serious imbalance in your body. You see, your bones depend on a delicate balance between calcium and phosphorus. When you consume too much phosphoric acid from sodas, this balance gets thrown off completely. Your body starts pulling calcium from your bones to restore equilibrium, and that's when the trouble begins. But that's not the only way soda steals your bone strength. Think about it this way: every time you reach for a can of soda, you're choosing not to drink something that could actually help your bones. Instead of milk, which is packed with calcium, or fortified plant-based alternatives that support bone health, you're filling up on something that actively works against you. And here's something that might shock you: the sugar content in these drinks is astronomical. A single can of cola contains about 9 teaspoons of sugar. That's more sugar than most people should consume in an entire day. But why does this matter for your bones? Because all that sugar increases the amount of calcium your body loses through urine. Every sip of that sweet, fizzy drink is literally flushing calcium out of your system. It's like having a leak in your roof. You might not notice it at first, but over time, the damage becomes significant. Your bones become more porous, more fragile, more susceptible to fractures from even minor bumps or falls. For those of you in your golden years, this is particularly concerning. As we age, our bones naturally lose some of their density. We don't need to accelerate that process by consuming drinks that actively rob us of essential minerals. The statistics are sobering. Adults who regularly consume cola have been shown to have lower bone mineral density, particularly in their hips. This isn't just about vanity or feeling strong. This is about maintaining your independence, your ability to walk confidently, to enjoy activities with your grandchildren, to live life on your own terms. Now, if you're finding this information as eye-opening as I hope you are, I'd be so grateful if you could take just a moment to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to watch this entire video because we're about to reveal those incredible bone-building miracle drinks that can actually help strengthen and protect your skeleton for years to come. Now, let's talk about something that might be a bit more sensitive but equally important for your bone health: alcohol consumption. I want to be clear from the start. I'm not here to judge anyone's choices or to suggest that a glass of wine with dinner will ruin your health. What we're discussing today is the impact of regular, heavy alcohol consumption on your bones. The relationship between alcohol and bone health is complex, but the science is quite clear. When you consume alcohol regularly, especially in large quantities, it directly interferes with your body's ability to build and maintain strong bones. Let me explain how this happens in terms that make sense. Your bones are constantly undergoing a process called remodeling. Old bone tissue is broken down by cells called osteoclasts, while new bone tissue is built up by cells called osteoblasts. Think of it like renovating your house. You need to tear down the old parts and build new ones to keep everything strong and functional. Alcohol disrupts this delicate balance by interfering with the osteoblasts, those crucial bone-building cells. When these cells can't do their job properly, your bones become weaker over time. It's like having a construction crew that can tear down old structures but can't build new ones effectively. But the problems don't stop there. Alcohol also interferes with your body's ability to absorb calcium and vitamin D, two nutrients that are absolutely essential for bone health. Even if you're drinking plenty of milk or taking calcium supplements, heavy alcohol consumption can prevent your body from actually using these nutrients effectively. For women, particularly those who have gone through menopause, this becomes even more critical. After menopause, women naturally lose bone density more rapidly due to hormonal changes. Adding alcohol to the mix can accelerate this process significantly, leading to a much higher risk of osteoporosis and fractures. The statistics are concerning. Heavy drinkers have a 25% higher risk of developing osteoporosis compared to those who drink moderately or not at all. But here's what's particularly troubling for older adults. Alcohol also affects your balance and coordination, making falls more likely. When you combine weakened bones with an increased risk of falling, you have a recipe for serious injury. I've seen too many cases where a simple stumble, something that might have resulted in nothing more than embarrassment for someone with strong bones, leads to a hip fracture for someone whose bones have been weakened by years of heavy drinking. Hip fractures in older adults often mark the beginning of a significant decline in independence and quality of life. Now, I'm not suggesting you need to eliminate alcohol entirely. Moderate consumption, defined as 1 drink per day for women and 2 for men, doesn't appear to significantly harm bone health in most people. In fact, some studies suggest that light to moderate alcohol consumption might even have some protective effects. But if you're consuming more than these recommended amounts regularly, it's time to seriously consider the impact on your bones. This is especially true if you have other risk factors for osteoporosis, such as a family history of the condition, smoking, or a sedentary lifestyle. The good news is that reducing alcohol consumption can help. Your bones are resilient and they can recover to some extent when given the right conditions. Cutting back on alcohol, combined with proper nutrition and exercise, can help improve your bone density over time. If you're struggling with alcohol consumption, please don't hesitate to reach out for help. Your doctor can provide resources and support to help you make changes that will benefit not just your bones, but your overall health and well-being. No, this next topic might be hard to hear, especially for those of you who start every morning with a steaming cup of coffee and continue sipping throughout the day. Coffee is such an integral part of many people's daily routines, and I'm not here to take away something that brings you joy and comfort. However, we need to talk about how excessive coffee consumption can impact your bone health. First, let me reassure you that moderate coffee consumption, about 1 to 2 cups per day, is generally not a cause for concern when it comes to bone health. The problems arise when coffee becomes your primary beverage throughout the day when you're consuming 4, 5, or even 6 cups daily. The main culprit here is caffeine, that wonderful compound that helps wake us up and keeps us alert. But caffeine has a diuretic effect, meaning it increases the amount of urine your body produces. Now, you might think this just means more trips to the bathroom, but there's a more serious consequence. You're losing calcium through that increased urination. Every time you urinate, you lose some calcium. Under normal circumstances, this isn't a problem because your body maintains a careful balance. But when you're consuming large amounts of caffeine, you're forcing your body to excrete more calcium than it normally would. Over time, this can lead to a net loss of calcium from your bones. Research has shown that for every 100 milligrams of caffeine consumed, you lose about 6 milligrams of calcium. To put this in perspective, a typical 8-ounce cup of coffee contains about 95 milligrams of caffeine. So, if you're drinking 5 cups of coffee a day, you could be losing around 30 milligrams of calcium daily just from the diuretic effect of caffeine. Now, 30 milligrams might not sound like much, but remember, we're talking about a daily loss. Over a year, that adds up to nearly 11,000 milligrams of calcium. That's more than 11 grams. When you consider that the average adult only consumes about 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams of calcium per day, you can see how significant this loss becomes. But there's another factor to consider. Many coffee drinkers don't just drink their coffee black. They add cream, sugar, artificial sweeteners, or flavored syrups. While cream does provide some calcium, the sugar and artificial additives can interfere with calcium absorption and bone metabolism. For older adults, this becomes particularly concerning because our ability to absorb calcium naturally decreases with age. Our stomachs produce less acid as we get older, which is necessary for calcium absorption. So, we're already fighting an uphill battle when it comes to maintaining adequate calcium levels. The timing of coffee consumption also matters. If you're drinking coffee with meals, the caffeine can interfere with the absorption of calcium from food. This means that even if you're eating calcium-rich foods, you might not be getting the full benefit if you're washing them down with coffee. I want to emphasize that I'm not suggesting you give up coffee entirely. For many people, coffee provides important antioxidants and can be part of a healthy diet. The key is moderation and awareness. If you're currently drinking more than 3 cups of coffee per day, consider gradually reducing your intake. You might also consider switching to half-caff or decaffeinated coffee for some of your daily cups. Decaf coffee still provides many of the flavors and rituals you enjoy, but without the calcium-depleting effects of caffeine. You could also try alternating between regular coffee and herbal teas throughout the day. Another strategy is to increase your calcium intake when you do drink coffee. Have your coffee with a calcium-rich snack, or consider taking a calcium supplement at a different time of day than when you drink coffee. Just remember to space them out by at least 2 hours to avoid interference with absorption. The most important thing is to be mindful of your total daily intake and to balance your love of coffee with your need for strong, healthy bones. Let me talk to you about a category of beverages that might not be as common in your daily routine, but is increasingly popular among people of all ages: energy drinks. While these might seem like something only young people consume, I've noticed more and more adults turning to these drinks when they need an extra boost of energy, especially during busy periods or when dealing with fatigue. Energy drinks are, without exaggeration, some of the worst beverages you can consume if you're concerned about maintaining strong, healthy bones. These drinks are essentially a perfect storm of bone-destroying ingredients, all packaged together in one convenient can. Let's start with the caffeine content. While we just discussed how excessive coffee can harm your bones, energy drinks take caffeine consumption to an entirely different level. A typical energy drink contains anywhere from 50 to 300 milligrams of caffeine per serving, and some contain even more. To put this in perspective, that's equivalent to drinking anywhere from 2 to 6 cups of coffee all at once. This massive caffeine dose creates an immediate and dramatic increase in calcium loss through urination. Remember, we talked about losing 6 milligrams of calcium for every 100 milligrams of caffeine. With energy drinks, you could be losing 18 to 30 milligrams of calcium from a single can. If someone were to drink one energy drink daily, they could be losing over 10,000 milligrams of calcium per year just from the caffeine alone. But caffeine is just the beginning of the problem. Energy drinks are loaded with sugar, often containing 25 to 35 grams per can. That's equivalent to about 8 teaspoons of sugar in a single serving. As we discussed earlier, high sugar intake increases calcium excretion through urine, compounding the calcium loss you're already experiencing from the caffeine. Then there are the artificial additives. Energy drinks contain a cocktail of synthetic compounds, artificial colors, preservatives, and chemical flavorings. Many of these additives increase the acidity in your body. When your body becomes too acidic, it needs to neutralize that acidity to maintain proper pH levels. How does it do this? By pulling alkaline minerals, primarily calcium, from your bones. This process is called bone resorption, and it's one of the most direct ways that acidic foods and beverages can weaken your skeleton. Your bones essentially become a mineral bank that your body raids whenever it needs to maintain proper acid-base balance. Energy drinks also often contain taurine, an amino acid that can interfere with calcium absorption. While taurine isn't necessarily harmful in small amounts, the quantities found in energy drinks combined with all the other problematic ingredients can contribute to poor bone health. What makes energy drinks particularly dangerous is how quickly they affect your system. Unlike coffee, which you might sip slowly over an hour, energy drinks are typically consumed quickly, often within 15 to 30 minutes. This rapid consumption creates a sudden spike in caffeine, sugar, and acidic compounds in your bloodstream, overwhelming your body's ability to manage these substances effectively. The marketing around energy drinks often targets people who are tired, stressed, or looking for improved physical performance. But here's the irony: while these drinks might give you a temporary energy boost, they're actively weakening the very foundation of your body, your skeletal system. For older adults, this is particularly concerning because we naturally have less efficient systems for processing caffeine and sugar. Our kidneys don't filter as efficiently, our liver doesn't metabolize compounds as quickly, and our bones are already losing density as part of the normal aging process. I've seen cases where regular energy drink consumption has contributed to stress fractures, particularly in older adults who are also dealing with other risk factors for bone loss. These fractures can occur even from normal daily activities because the bones have become so weakened. If you're currently using energy drinks to combat fatigue or low energy, I encourage you to explore other options. Often, fatigue is a sign of underlying issues like poor sleep, inadequate nutrition, or medical conditions that can be addressed more effectively and safely than masking the symptoms with energy drinks. Consider talking to your doctor about your energy levels. There might be simple solutions like adjusting your sleep schedule, improving your diet, or checking for conditions like anemia or thyroid problems that could be causing your fatigue. Remember, true energy comes from taking care of your body, not from overwhelming it with artificial stimulants and chemicals that ultimately make you weaker in the long run. Now that we've covered the drinks that can harm your bones, let's shift our focus to something much more positive: the beverages that can actually strengthen your skeletal system and support your bone health as you age. The first bone-building miracle drink I want to discuss is fortified plant-based milk, and I think you'll be surprised by just how beneficial these alternatives can be. Many of you might remember a time when milk meant one thing: dairy milk from cows. But today, we have a wonderful array of plant-based alternatives that can be just as beneficial for bone health, and in some cases, even more so. I'm talking about almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, rice milk, and many others, all of which can be excellent choices when they're properly fortified. The key word here is fortified. Not all plant-based milks are created equal when it comes to bone health. You want to look for versions that have been enriched with calcium and vitamin D, two nutrients that are absolutely essential for strong bones. When you're shopping, check the nutrition label and look for plant-based milks that provide at least 300 milligrams of calcium per cup, which is comparable to dairy milk. Let me tell you why fortified plant-based milks can be such excellent choices for bone health. First, they provide the calcium your bones need without some of the potential drawbacks of dairy milk. Some people develop lactose intolerance as they age, making it difficult to digest dairy products. Others find that dairy milk causes inflammation or digestive discomfort. Plant-based alternatives eliminate these concerns while still providing bone-supporting nutrients. Soy milk deserves special mention because it offers unique benefits beyond basic calcium and vitamin D fortification. Soy milk is rich in compounds called isoflavones, particularly genistein and daidzein. These isoflavones have a structure similar to estrogen, and they can help reduce bone loss, especially in postmenopausal women who have experienced a decline in natural estrogen production. Multiple studies have shown that regular consumption of soy milk can help maintain bone density and reduce the risk of osteoporotic fractures. In fact, some research suggests that the isoflavones in soy milk might be even more effective at preventing bone loss than calcium supplementation alone. Almond milk brings its own set of benefits to the table. While almonds are naturally rich in calcium, fortified almond milk provides even more. But almond milk also contains magnesium, another crucial mineral for bone health. Magnesium helps regulate calcium absorption and is necessary for the formation of bone crystals. Many people don't get enough magnesium in their diets, so choosing almond milk can help fill this nutritional gap. Oat milk has become increasingly popular, and for good reason. Fortified oat milk not only provides calcium and vitamin D, but it's often enriched with vitamin B12, which plays a role in bone metabolism. Oat milk also contains beta-glucan, a type of fiber that may help improve overall bone health by supporting the beneficial bacteria in your gut that aid in nutrient absorption. One of the great advantages of plant-based milks is their versatility. You can use them in your morning cereal, coffee, smoothies, or simply drink them on their own. They blend well in recipes, and many people find them easier to digest than dairy milk, especially as digestive systems become more sensitive with age. When choosing plant-based milk, I recommend opting for unsweetened varieties whenever possible. Many flavored and sweetened versions contain added sugars that can interfere with calcium absorption and contribute to the calcium loss we discussed earlier. The unsweetened versions still taste great and provide all the bone-building benefits without the drawbacks of excess sugar. It's also worth noting that plant-based milks are often lower in calories than whole dairy milk, which can be beneficial if you're trying to maintain a healthy weight. Excess weight can put additional stress on your bones and joints, so choosing lower-calorie alternatives that still provide essential nutrients is a smart strategy. For those of you who are environmentally conscious, you'll be pleased to know that plant-based milks generally have a much smaller environmental footprint than dairy milk. So you can feel good about your choice from both a health and sustainability perspective. I recommend incorporating at least 1 glass of fortified plant-based milk into your daily routine. You might have it with breakfast, use it in a smoothie, or enjoy it as an afternoon snack. The key is consistency. Regular consumption will provide the steady supply of calcium and vitamin D your bones need to stay strong. Remember to shake the container well before pouring, as the added nutrients can sometimes settle at the bottom. And don't be afraid to try different varieties to find the ones you enjoy most. Your taste preferences might change over time, and having options will help you stick with this bone-healthy habit for years to come. Let me introduce you to what I consider one of the most powerful bone-building beverages you can consume, a green smoothie made with kale, spinach, and chia seeds. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Green smoothies might sound like a modern health fad, but the science behind this combination is solid and the benefits for your bone health are remarkable. The beauty of this green smoothie lies in the synergy of its ingredients. Each component brings unique bone-supporting nutrients to the table, and when combined, they create a nutritional powerhouse that can significantly impact your skeletal health. Let's start with kale, often called a superfood, and for good reason. Kale is one of the richest sources of vitamin K you can find, containing over 500 micrograms per cup. Vitamin K is crucial for bone health because it helps activate proteins that bind calcium to your bones. Without adequate vitamin K, your body can't effectively use the calcium you consume no matter how much you're taking in. But kale doesn't stop at vitamin K, it's also an excellent source of calcium itself, providing about 90 milligrams per cup. What makes kale's calcium particularly valuable is its bioavailability, meaning your body can easily absorb and use it. Some studies suggest that the calcium in kale is actually more readily absorbed than the calcium in dairy products. Spinach brings its own set of bone-building benefits. Like kale, spinach is rich in vitamin K and provides a good amount of calcium. But spinach also contains folate, magnesium, and potassium, all of which play important roles in bone health. Magnesium is particularly crucial because it's involved in converting vitamin D into its active form, which is necessary for calcium absorption. Now, let's talk about the star ingredient that really makes this smoothie special: chia seeds. These tiny seeds are absolutely packed with bone-supporting nutrients. Just 2 tablespoons of chia seeds provide about 180 milligrams of calcium. That's nearly 20% of your daily calcium needs in such a small serving. But chia seeds offer more than just calcium. They're one of the richest plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically alpha-linolenic acid. These omega-3 South are crucial for bone health because they help reduce inflammation throughout your body, including inflammation that can contribute to bone loss. Chronic inflammation is one of the hidden factors that can accelerate bone deterioration as we age. Chia seeds also provide phosphorus, magnesium, and protein, all of which are important for maintaining strong bones. The protein is particularly valuable because your bones aren't just made of minerals, they also contain a protein matrix that gives them flexibility and strength. When you blend these ingredients together, you create a drink that provides a comprehensive array of bone-supporting nutrients. The combination of calcium from multiple sources, vitamin K for calcium utilization, magnesium for vitamin D activation, and omega-3 South for inflammation reduction creates an optimal environment for bone health. Here's a simple recipe that I recommend. Start with 1 cup of fresh kale leaves, removing the tough stems. Add 1 cup of fresh spinach leaves. Include 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and blend with about 1 cup of fortified plant-based milk or water. You can add a banana or a small amount of frozen fruit for sweetness and additional nutrients. The banana not only makes the smoothie taste better, but it also provides potassium, which helps reduce calcium loss through urine. If you want to boost the calcium content even further, you can use fortified plant-based milk as your liquid base instead of water. One of the great things about this smoothie is its versatility. You can prepare it fresh each morning, or you can make larger batches and store portions in the refrigerator for up to 2 days. The chia seeds will actually help thicken the smoothie over time, creating an almost pudding-like consistency that many people find appealing. For those of you who are new to green smoothies, don't be intimidated by the color. The taste is actually quite mild and pleasant, especially when you include some fruit for sweetness. The leafy greens provide a fresh, clean flavor that's much more enjoyable than you might expect. I recommend starting with smaller amounts of greens if you're not used to them, perhaps half a cup each of kale and spinach, and gradually increasing the amounts as your taste buds adjust. The key is to find a balance that you enjoy because the best nutritional drink is the one you'll actually consume regularly. The timing of when you drink this smoothie can also matter. Having it with breakfast can help ensure you're getting bone-supporting nutrients early in the day when your body is primed for nutrient absorption. The protein and healthy fats from the chia seeds will also help keep you satisfied and energized throughout the morning. Remember, consistency is key when it comes to supporting bone health. Drinking this green smoothie once a week won't provide significant benefits, but making it a regular part of your routine, perhaps 3 to 4 times per week, can make a real difference in your bone density over time. This isn't just about preventing bone loss, it's about actively building stronger bones and supporting your overall health and vitality as you age. Now, let me share with you one of the most surprising and scientifically backed bone-building drinks that you probably never considered: prune juice. I know what you're thinking. Prunes are for digestive health, right? While that's certainly true, the research on prunes and bone health is absolutely fascinating and something every person concerned about their skeletal strength should know about. Prune juice might not sound glamorous, but the scientific evidence supporting its bone-building properties is remarkable. Multiple studies have shown that regular consumption of prune juice can actually slow down bone loss and even improve bone density, particularly in postmenopausal women who are at the highest risk for osteoporosis. Let me explain why prunes are so special for bone health. Prunes are dried plums, and through the drying process, many of their bone-supporting nutrients become concentrated. The result is a fruit that's packed with compounds that actively support your skeletal system in multiple ways. First, prunes are rich in boron, a trace mineral that many people have never heard of but that plays a crucial role in bone health. Boron helps your body use calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D more effectively. It's like having a nutritional coordinator in your system, making sure all your bone-building nutrients work together optimally. Research has shown that people with higher boron intake have stronger bones and a lower risk of osteoporosis. The great news is that prunes are one of the richest dietary sources of boron available. Just 4 ounces of prune juice can provide a significant portion of your daily boron needs. Prunes are also excellent sources of potassium, containing more of this important mineral than even bananas. Potassium is crucial for bone health because it helps neutralize acids in your body that can leach calcium from your bones. Remember when we talked about how acidic foods and drinks can pull calcium from your skeleton? Potassium-rich foods like prune juice help counteract this effect. But perhaps most importantly, prunes contain unique antioxidants and phenolic compounds that have been shown to stimulate bone formation. These compounds, including chlorogenic acid and neochlorogenic acid, appear to enhance the activity of osteoblasts, those crucial bone-building cells we discussed earlier. One landmark study followed postmenopausal women for an entire year. Half the women ate about 10 prunes daily, while the other half ate dried apples. At the end of the year, the women who ate prunes had significantly higher bone density in their spine and forearms compared to the apple group. Even more impressive, the prune group actually showed improvements in bone density, not just a slowing of bone loss. Another study looked specifically at prune juice and found similar results. Women who drank just 4 to 6 ounces of prune juice daily showed measurable improvements in bone markers within just 3 months. These weren't subtle changes, they were significant improvements that could translate to real protection against fractures. What makes these results even more remarkable is that prunes seem to work regardless of other factors. The bone-building benefits were seen in women of different ages, weights, and activity levels. This suggests that the compounds in prunes have a direct, powerful effect on bone metabolism. For those of you concerned about the sugar content in prune juice, let me put this in perspective. While prune juice does contain natural fruit sugars, it also provides fiber, antioxidants, and those bone-building compounds we just discussed. The benefits far outweigh any concerns about natural fruit sugars, especially when consumed in moderation. I recommend 4 to 6 ounces of prune juice daily, which is about half a cup to 3/4 of a cup. This amount provides optimal bone-building benefits without excessive calories or sugar. You can drink it on its own, mix it with water if you find it too sweet, or even add it to smoothies for additional flavor and nutrition. Many people prefer to drink prune juice in the morning as it can help with digestive regularity as well as bone health. Starting your day with prune juice ensures you're getting those bone-building compounds early when your body is most ready to absorb and utilize nutrients. If you're not used to the taste of prune juice, don't worry. Many people find that their taste preferences change over time, and what might seem unusual at first becomes quite enjoyable. You can also try mixing prune juice with other fruit juices initially, gradually increasing the proportion of prune juice as you adjust to the flavor. For those of you taking medications, particularly blood thinners, it's worth noting that prunes contain small amounts of vitamin K. While this isn't usually a concern with moderate consumption, it's always wise to discuss significant dietary changes with your healthcare provider. The beauty of prune juice as a bone-building drink is its simplicity and accessibility. You can find it in virtually any grocery store. It has a long shelf life, and it requires no preparation. It's an easy addition to your daily routine that can provide significant benefits for your bone health. Remember, building stronger bones is a long-term process. The studies showing benefits from prune juice involved consistent daily consumption over months and years. This isn't a quick fix, but rather a sustainable, enjoyable way to support your skeletal health for the long haul. Let me introduce you to what might be the most traditional and time-tested bone-building drink of all, bone broth. This isn't a modern health trend, it's an ancient food that our ancestors consumed regularly, and modern science is now confirming what traditional cultures have known for centuries. Bone broth is incredibly beneficial for bone health. Bone broth is made by slowly simmering animal bones, often beef, chicken, or fish bones, for many hours, sometimes even days. This long, slow cooking process extracts all the valuable nutrients from the bones and creates a rich, flavorful liquid that's packed with compounds your bones need to stay strong and healthy. What makes bone broth so special for bone health? Let me walk you through the incredible array of nutrients that get extracted during this cooking process. First and foremost, you get calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, the primary minerals that make up your bone structure. But unlike calcium supplements or fortified foods, these minerals come in a form that your body can easily recognize and absorb. But bone broth offers something that most other bone-building drinks don't: collagen and gelatin. When bones are simmered for long periods, the collagen in the bones breaks down into gelatin and smaller protein compounds called peptides. This is incredibly important because your bones aren't just made of minerals, they also contain a protein matrix, primarily collagen, that gives them flexibility and resilience. Think of your bones like a concrete building. The calcium and other minerals are like the concrete, providing hardness and strength. But collagen is like the steel rebar that runs through the concrete, providing flexibility and preventing the structure from becoming too brittle. As we age, our bodies produce less collagen naturally, which is one reason why bones can become more fragile over time. By consuming bone broth regularly, you're providing your body with the building blocks it needs to maintain this crucial protein matrix in your bones. The collagen peptides in bone broth have been shown to stimulate your body's own collagen production, essentially helping your bones repair and strengthen themselves from the inside out. Research has shown that collagen supplementation can increase bone mineral density and reduce the risk of bone loss. What's particularly exciting is that bone broth provides collagen in its most natural, bioavailable form, along with all the cofactors and minerals that help your body use it effectively. Bone broth also contains glycine and proline, amino acids that are essential for collagen synthesis. Your body can produce these amino acids on its own, but as we age, this production declines. Getting them from food sources like bone broth helps ensure your body has what it needs to maintain healthy bones and connective tissues. Another important component of bone broth is hyaluronic acid, which is found in the cartilage and connective tissues that get extracted during the cooking process. Hyaluronic acid helps maintain the health of your joints and can reduce inflammation throughout your body, including inflammation that can contribute to bone loss. The minerals in bone broth are particularly well absorbed because they're in their natural, organic form and are accompanied by the proteins and other compounds that facilitate absorption. This is different from synthetic mineral supplements, which your body sometimes has difficulty utilizing effectively. Making bone broth at home is surprisingly simple, though it does require patience. You can use bones from grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, or wild-caught fish. The key is to simmer them slowly for at least 12 hours, though 24 to 48 hours is even better for maximum nutrient extraction. Adding a small amount of apple cider vinegar to the water helps extract more minerals from the bones. If making your own bone broth seems daunting, don't worry. High-quality bone broth is now available in many grocery stores and health food stores. Look for brands that use organic, grass-fed, or pasture-raised bones and avoid products with added artificial flavors or preservatives. I recommend consuming at least 1 cup of bone broth daily for optimal bone health benefits. You can drink it warm on its own, like a comforting tea, or use it as a base for soups, stews, or even to cook grains like rice or quinoa. This versatility makes it easy to incorporate bone broth into your regular meals. Many people find bone broth particularly satisfying and comforting, especially during colder months. It's also very easy to digest, making it an excellent choice for people with sensitive stomachs or digestive issues that might interfere with nutrient absorption from other foods. The sodium content in bone broth can vary, so if you're watching your salt intake, look for low-sodium versions or make your own without added salt. You can always add herbs and spices for flavor without increasing the sodium content. What I find most compelling about bone broth is that it represents a complete approach to bone health. Rather than focusing on just one or two nutrients, bone broth provides a complex array of compounds that work together synergistically to support not just your bones, but your overall health and vitality. This is nutrition the way nature intended. Whole foods providing complete nutrition informs your body.